Welcome to Front-End Development Part 1. For our ambitious folks, tomorrow there will be a Part 2 where we get to learn JavaScript so that we can add even more functionality to whatever we create tonight. So definitely come back for that tomorrow. But tonight we're going to be focusing on HTML and CSS. So what is front-end development? All right. The front-end development is the creation of the graphical interface of websites. So that's basically just whatever you're interacting with on whatever website you're on. And the technologies used in front-end dev controls the way that the website looks and how the user interacts with it. So that includes like where the content is located on the screen. You know, if it's got styles like colors or if it's bold text. And front-end technologies mostly deal with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, although there are other technologies like jQuery, other frameworks that you can use within HTML, CSS, JavaScript, like Bootstrap, that help add functionality to these languages, but it really just comes down to these three main components. And in my opinion, it's best to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript when you're getting started, because that's if you are able to recognize these languages, how they're structured and how they function, it'll help you understand how to use frameworks later on that just make life a little bit easier. And if anybody's got questions at any time, feel free to just stop me. Just completely interrupt me. That's totally fine. All right. And how does it all come together? So when the sorry, I'm trying to think here. Okay, so first the browser, once it requests the website, the browser first parses the HTML file, which contains the content for the website, such as the text, any images, stuff like that. And then it looks for links in the HTML file for CSS style sheets and JavaScript script files, and then it also parses those files as well. Once it's got all of the files parsed, the browser then creates an internal memory structure called the DOM, which I believe is a document. It's a memory structure used in browsers, and it's, if you are familiar with other languages, object-oriented languages, or whatever, it's similar to a tree almost. It takes in all of the elements in the HTML file, all of the script, all of the scripts, and sort of puts it into a memory style similar to a tree, so that the browser can then create the style and put all of the elements together. And then as the structures are built in the DOM, and the external files are executed, such as the JavaScript scripts, then the visual representation of the website is then shown on the screen and the user can interact with it. And that's just basically like the website loading. And this is what's called a wireframe. This is a style tool used in web development that is sort of one of the first steps of visualizing what you want your website to look like. And it helps determine functionality, and it helps then create styles later on. So in this example, it shows two formats for this website. One being structured for a mobile device, which is constrained to lower resolution, and one for a desktop website as well. And so as you can see here, it's very bare bones. It really only shows where content is going to be placed on the screen, such as a login button, where you want your logo to be, your images. It shows some sort of functionality, such as you want to have some sort of like a carousel that you can use JavaScript for, that you can move between content. And this is really important for style as well, because you want your content to make sense. If you want users to be able to use your website and have your content structured well, it wouldn't make sense to have a login button all the way at the bottom of the page. Maybe users are used to having navigation be up at the top or in a bar to the side. Having these elements be obvious to the user is going to help make your website function well and look pretty too. Do we have any questions so far about what front-end development is?
I just want to say something. You're doing an amazing job explaining it very simply, so thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. I'm glad it's making sense. And if you need me to explain anything differently, let me know. So just kind of quickly, behind the scenes, what happens when you try to access a website? There are two, in very basic terms, there are two entities: the client, which is the device that's trying to access the internet. So that's like your laptop using Discord, or your phone using your browser on your phone. And you also have the server, which is basically a computer of sorts that stores website data and apps. And so when the client tries to access the website on the server then sends a copy of the website or the app that gets downloaded onto the client's device, so that it can then be loaded in your browser in a format that you can then interact with. So the client requests from the server, and then the server sends the information to the client. I'm talking about front-end development here, but in terms of websites, there's more. Like I just mentioned, the difference between the client, which is the user trying to access the internet, and the server, which contains the information and sends the information to the client. So front-end development mainly deals with, again, the user interface for the website or the app, to the actual web page that you're interacting with. So that's mainly styles and information. There's also back-end development, which could be any number of programming languages, such as Python, C++, Java. These can deal with things like servers, databases, additional interactivity. So that might be if a user tries to log in to the website. The back-end development might deal with the user authentication, storing user account information, transactions between different websites, more technical stuff that's behind the scenes. And so both front-end development and back-end development come together into full stack development, which you might see as a job title. It's not so. It used to be that that websites were, the front end and the back end were managed mostly by one person, who was then called the webmaster or the web developer, like our lovely team of webmaster officers that we just elected. But nowadays there is a little bit more of a divide between the two. So you could see, if you're looking for jobs or internships that you're applying for, you could see, the positions being split up, or you might see full stack development as well. So first, to talk about HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And an HTML file is a plain text file comprised of tags that give formatting properties to the plain text information. So you might have, if you almost think of an HTML file as a newspaper almost. You've got your heading at the top. You've got blocks of text where you've got your articles, your images. So with the HTML file, all of that information is just in plain text, but it's surrounded by these tags here that tell the browser how to format this information. So for example, some of these tags here, H1, H3. H1 is a big header, and there's also H2, but H3 is just a smaller header. The P tag stands for paragraph. That's just a block of text. BR is a break. It gives you space in between your lines there. Strong is a tag that gives you a bold text effect. A is a tag that is used for inserting links on your web page. UL stands for unordered list, and so that is basically like a bullet point list, as opposed to an ordered list that has it's like a numbered list. And then that's usually combined with li here, which is a list element. And so that's just each individual bullet point within this unordered list. And you don't have to remember these tags. I have a little cheat sheet for you at the end when you start making your own file. And I also have an example for you in just a second. But the text gets surrounded by these tags here. So there is there's one at the start, and then there's one at the end there with the I think that's the forward slash or the backslash. I get the two confused, honestly. But with the slash there, that just sort of tells the browser that the information in between those two tags is, in this case, a paragraph. And then tags can also have attributes. Some of these attributes are optional, such as maybe like a style attribute. In this case, the A tag is the link, and the href is equal to, in this case, it's just the pound sign or the hashtag. But in this case, this here would be a link to a website, and then the href would be equal to the link to the website that you're trying to access. And then I'll show you an example in a second, but the any text between these two A tags here would be the text that's displayed as the title for the web page. So here's an example of what an HTML document might look like. And I'll go over the basic structure of an HTML document in just a second. But all HTML documents start with this opening HTML tag and the closing HTML tag. And again, this is just a plain text document, so these HTML tags are what tells the browser that this is the information that it's looking for. Up here you have a little head section, little heading section. This is just information for the website and how the information gets sorted on using search engines. So, I mean, some of these tags here, these meta tags, are used to, it's more just like overhead administrative, I guess, stuff for the HTML document. And so then the body here, in between these two body tags, this is the information that's going to be displayed on the website. So as you can see, there are different tags here, like a heading, a paragraph. Here's an example of the unordered list, where using the UL tag is going to organize all of the nested LI elements as an unordered list. If you wanted to display this as an ordered list, like you wanted the list elements to have numbers on them, you would just change the parent tag to OL, which stands for ordered list. And then there's just an example down there of using I'll show you the website, it's pretty funny. But it's just an example of what it looks like to insert a link into the web page. And so this is what it looks like compiled. Well, if you were to open the HTML file in a browser, it's not actually being hosted right now. It's just how it would look like if it was going to be a live website. So here is up top here, this is an H1 heading that was in the H1 heading tag. The smaller bodies, paragraph, the space here, I'd included a break tag in between the two paragraphs, so that's why there's that space there. We've got our unordered list here with our bullet points. And then if I'll show the website at the end, because we gotta stay on track here. Got a lot to do today. But basically the structure for the HTML file, again, you've got your opening and closing HTML tags your heading here with basically the page title for the website. If you were to Google it, that would be what would show up in the search results, and any sort of additional description information that helps the search engine. And then down here, the body with all of the text that you've got there. So that's the basic file structure for your HTML document. Does anybody have any questions about HTML? This is basically the content that goes into the website. All right, moving on to CSS. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. And there are three main ways to include styles for your HTML content. You can either add inline styles, which will only apply to the HTML tag that it is attributed to. But that's an example of that was the link, the A tag, where the href equals the string for the website that it's linking to. You can also use a style tag block in the heading section of the HTML page. So right up here, you would include basically a nested style block, and you can include your CSS code in that. Or for best practice, you should have an external style sheet. And again, the CSS file is just a plain text document that is, there's a special tag that you include in the heading of the HTML file, which will link the CSS file to your HTML page. And so when you use external style sheets, the CSS file will be applied to any HTML files that the CSS file links to. And you'll see this on much bigger websites, but you can have multiple, well, I guess most websites would, but websites can have multiple HTML files, sometimes for different pages on the website. And so if you want to keep your styling consistent, you can use an external style sheet to apply to all of your styles. Hang on just 1 second. Okay, all right. So the cascading part of the cascading style sheet just refers to the way that the styles that are applied to the parent tag will also apply to the child tag. So the box on the left here is an example of an HTML code where, and I didn't really show this on the other example, but you can create sections of your content using semantic tags such as div tags for, I guess, divided section, or header. There are different semantic tags sort of describe different sections of content. But so within this div class of called section, you see you've got two elements here, a paragraph and also a table. And so over in the box to the right here, this is what your CSS code would look like. So each one of these sections here, the dot section just refers to the section class that contains so this would be where you, in between the two curly braces here, would be where you would put your style elements, and that would apply to the section parent class. And so any style that you put in this block here will also automatically apply to any of the elements that are contained within section. And as you can see here, you can also specify elements within a class, such as the section class. Here we're specifying the paragraph element. So say we wanted the text in the section class to be red, but we wanted the text in the paragraph specifically to be green. We can then sort of override that style by specifying the paragraph element of the section class. And this is just kind of scratching the surface of CSS. You can do a lot with it, but this is sort of what CSS is. And I have an example as well. Here, as you can remember from the HTML file here, the body section, so all of the content that's going to be displayed on the website here on this CSS style here, this is going to apply these attributes to all of the elements within the body. And that's more for continuity of style on the web page. You can then override that in each individual section as you want. But in this case, we're setting the font of the text to be Verdana. I don't know how you say that. If we're setting the font size specifically to be 16 pixels and the background color of the website, we want it to be gray. We want to make the text color of the H1 header white, and we're setting the font size as well. For the, let's say we have a class, a div class called big heading. If we have any paragraphs in that section, we want it to be styled with a border and it to be colored blue, and the text is colored blue. And then say we have another div class called small heading, and here we have an unordered list element from our HTML file. And this list style type here is just a style element that we say none here. We just want to remove the bullet points from the list so that there are just no bullet points on the list. So then if we look at our website, this is pretty much the same code as the HTML file that I showed right here. I did add the two div classes just so that I could show you how we can specify code and the styling. But see here, we've added a border to the paragraph text here. We've made the color of the paragraph blue. We made the entire the body of this web page, we made it gray, and down here we removed the bullet points from our unordered list. So, I mean, as you can see, that just with these elements here, we've already made a pretty big difference between this just plain text HTML file and a little bit of style. It's not pretty, but it's fun to play with. You can change a lot of things about how you want the website to look. So just to sort of summarize the main differences between HTML and CSS. HTML is the content of the web page, all of your text, all of your images, and how it's organized into paragraphs or lists or headers on your web page. And then CSS is going to define the style and color, position of the content. And when you're making your website, of course you want it to look pretty, but there are also a number of best practices that you can utilize to make your website more accessible, to make it easier to find when users are searching for your information online. So just to kind of go down the list here, the first point to consider here is website accessibility. So this is really important for users who have to use modifications in order to access the web. So this might be a screen reader for someone who's blind, or maybe increased text size. So this could also be adding alternate text for images, or like image descriptions. So maybe in case the image doesn't load for some reason, there's just like a short description that you can see on the website that is displayed that just sort of describes what the image looks like. And then that's also something that screen readers can then use to describe to users what they're looking at. And I can show you this website here. There's a lot of web resources for making your website accessible. But this is just one website. If you just search for web accessibility, it'll tell you things that you can do to make your screen contrast, the color contrast, accessible, not having colors be too close together that it would be difficult to see for people with low vision. So that's just one example there. And there, okay. The next thing that you can consider is search engine optimization. So if you saw on the HTML file, up top here in the heading, we've got these meta tags. And so this sort of helps, there are different meta tags that you can use. This is just based off of a template. So some of these depict how wide we want the web page to be displayed, whether it's whether it's scaled to a different proportion. But this here, the meta name description content, and there's nothing in the description right here, but this is a good example of search engine optimization. If you were to put tags or keywords into this here, it's just basic words that help describe what the content of your website is. So like, say you have a website for a bakery, maybe for the description, you want to include, bakery. Maybe you want to say bread if people are searching for bread near me. Then because the search engine is going to see these tags here, the description, they're going to know, oh, your website is about bread. So we're going to display this content when it's relevant to people who are searching for it in your area. And there are a ton of different tags that you can use to help a search engine better classify your website. And this is especially important with Google PageRank. If when you search for something on Google, you get a lot of different, you get many pages of results, but not many of us actually go past the first page of results unless we're really desperate or looking for something really obscure. And it's for good reason. If you ever, for example, if I were to Google shark, on the first page of results, I might see 10 different encyclopedia web pages about sharks. And then maybe on the 10th page of results, I might start seeing websites, like for a shark vacuum cleaner, because the say Google PageRank has determined that people who search for shark are most likely to be looking for information on the animal first, as opposed to people who might then search for shark vacuum. Maybe then the shark vacuum website would be brought up to the first page of results. That's a long way of describing search engine optimization, but it's basically just classifying your website with these tags that the web browser is going to use to help sort your website. Something else to consider when designing your website is user experience. So you don't want your website to be painful to use. I'm sure we've all had websites where we have a bunch of pop-up windows that we have to navigate. Maybe they've got a really small button to close out of the pop-up window, but it's all the way up in the corner and it's really small and it's really hard to click on, or it's not even visible at all, and you just have to guess how to close the pop-up window. You want your website to be reasonable to use, and that goes back to the style sheets that we saw earlier when designing the website. You want it to be of a familiar content layout, with your navigation in predictable places, maybe with a search bar at the top. If you make your website easy to use, people are going to come to your website and use it often, I guess, if they are looking for your content. Something else to consider is mobile responsiveness. If you're using frameworks that, like Bootstrap, they make it a lot easier to stylize your content for both mobile and web, or I guess desktop applications. But basically, and again, going back to this style sheet here, you want your content to be able to be scaled for both types of devices. You certainly don't want to be scrolling horizontally for looking for your information. If you have to move some elements on your page, like for example, they've got these 3 boxes here that are able to be spaced out on the desktop all right next to each other, but that's not going to fit on a mobile device. So they changed that by then adding in the slider, the carousel that is implemented with JavaScript that then allows them to have these 3 boxes then organized in mobile-friendly content. Okay. And then the last sort of tip here is website validator tools. So once you've got your HTML file right here, you can then copy paste, and I think actually I can show an example. You then basically copy paste your code into this box here, and it's going to check you know, if there are any broken links in your code, or sometimes they can also check for whether your content is accessible to in terms of web accessibility for disabled users. So let me see if I can get an example here. Okay. This might actually, well, let's try it. See what it does here. And look at that. I made a nice little HTML document. It looks like I somewhat know what I'm doing here. So, I mean, this here just basically is checking to make sure that all of my elements have the closing tags as well. It's all structured nicely, and it'll also you can also find CSS checkers too that will help make sure that your content is colored nicely with good contrast, all that fun stuff. So these are all good things to consider when designing your website, and this is all good stuff to consider while you're still in the visualization, the wireframe part of designing your web page, because it'll get harder to restructure your content, or if you have to change your styles, after the fact because they weren't accessible enough. It's just easier to do it all at the beginning and come out with a clean product at the end. Do we have any questions so far? All still with me? Sounds good. Awesome. All right. So for anybody who's interested, I did include a little zip file in yeah, meta tags like Facebook. I was kind of gonna make that joke, but I did not. Anyway, so let's get this bread. I did include a zip file of basic templates for an HTML file and a CSS file. Does anybody who wants to try their hand at the exercise, does anybody need help unzipping the file or getting the content? It's okay if you do. I'll help as best I can. But basically, in that zipped file is just try to keep things as is, where you have your HTML file and then also the folder that says CSS. And then inside the CSS folder, you have the style.css file. And it's important to keep the CSS file that way because it's linked that way in the HTML file with that specific path. And so that's where it's going to look for that CSS file. And you will be able to make the HTML web page without the CSS file, but that's just where it's going to look for the CSS style. So who wants to try this? Yeah? Everybody? Sounds good. All right. So I also have some links here on this. Here, let me stop sharing my screen for just a second. So I do have some links here. I'm also going to put these in the, oh wait, before we do the exercise, for those of us who remember from the example of the, here, let me share my screen again. Sorry. Let's do. So for those of us who remember from the HTML exercise from the very first page here, I think that probably, okay, well, anyways, let's just copy that link here. Very fun little link. There's a lot of fun web pages out there. Called endless.horse. It's basically just an endless horse. You just keep scrolling and it just keeps going. Because it's an endless horse. Yeah. Anyways, it's a really long horse. And we could be here all day trying to scroll to the bottom. But anyways, we're just gonna... Wait, was I not sharing my screen? Did you guys... Oh wait, yeah.
No, we saw it.
Okay, good. I'm glad. All right, let me pull up the files here. So, okay, for those of us who want to do the exercise, are we good to go? Or do you have the files unzipped? Yeah? Okay. Awesome. Sounds good. I'm going to assume that we're good to go. And I'm going to also assume that we have some sort of, yeah, let me just share my screen again. This is, yeah. All right. Oh wait, hang on, let me give you the links first. So these are, I'm just going to put these in the workshop. Praise be endless horse. Yes, I agree. I've got a lot of fun, pointless websites. If anybody's interested, I'm sure they're good for something. All right. So these two links here that I'm putting in the workshop text, these are super handy little guides to the tags and the HTML tags that you will be using to pretty much code whatever you want. I'm kind of going to leave this open-ended here. And also the style guides for CSS. And so I'll sort of do an example on my computer. You can do whatever you want with any of these tags here. But let's see what we can do here. Okay, share screen. And we're gonna keep the CSS relatively painless. CSS is kind of notorious for being all, oh no, our table, it's broken. Yeah, HTML can be, it's painful too. CSS is just, why does it Is that a serious why? Does it break? CSS is just kind of finicky because you have to, especially with here, and actually I can show you an example that I actually meant to show. Anyways, so if you go to any website and you can right click inspect, it's going to pull up this funky little console over here. Very fun and funky. So it's a lot to take in if you aren't familiar with web development. But and I'm using Firefox for reference. It's going to look a little different between browsers. But this first tab here is the inspector. So this is just showing you the HTML code and all of the tags that we have our information separated by. And actually, this is a great example of a website. I probably should have shown you guys this sooner. And this is going to be a very, very good example of a website just because it is meant to be web accessible. But sorry, in terms of websites being broken by CSS, as you can see down here, this shows the layout of the web page here. And so these are properties that are assigned with the CSS file for this website. But this is just one example. So you've one way to structure content so that you've got this nice little, I guess, space here on the side of your article is to apply a margin or a border or padding to your content, to your semantic tags like your div tags. And so you kind of have to calculate these. And so if you have your content, I guess I don't really have a good example of bad CSS right now, but it's notoriously very finicky and not very fun to write. But I'm sure if you get good enough at it, you will not think it's quite as painful. And if you go on YouTube, you can find videos of web developers who will do like a CSS speed run, because they just think it's fun. So it's kind of interesting. There's a place for everyone in this world. Oh, that's a lot of warnings. We're not gonna. Okay, that's not what I came here to show you. Yeah, CSS. Although I think that has more to do with my browser. But anyways, you can go to any web page and inspect the code. Yes, if you really wanted to inspect this one too. And this is kind of cool too, as if you're learning about tags and content. So see here, I'm highlighting the div with ID banner. So as you can see at the top, well, I can't show you with my mouse as a pointer, but it's kind of cool to see how the website will actually show you how it's structured with the CSS and all of the content that is included within that HTML tag. So that's pretty cool. You can play around with websites, and it's actually kind of fun. If you want, you can even mess with the CSS on websites. For those of you who are in the CS Discord, you might have seen that already with with LinkedIn profile reviews. So you can inspect the code on the page here, and then if you want, you can make changes to the stuff. There's so many warnings. I don't understand. I totally knew how to do this too. Let's see if this will do anything. So this is the style editor tag on the inspect. And this is, I'm sorry, I'm totally getting distracted here. But you can mess around with maybe not the video controls. But these are a bunch of different CSS files for the different, I guess, modules on the page. And I've done this before, but I changed all of the font on the page to be Comic Sans because it felt more natural for the Albany website. Anyways, if I can't, I'm not gonna spend more time. Ooh, this is what the file is gonna be. Public Sans. Okay. Well, anyways, you can use a style editor in the inspect tab here, and you can mess with the CSS stylings on website. Obviously, if it's not your website, it's not going to save any changes that you make to it, but it's kind of fun to play around with it and sort of see what you're working with. Okay, so without further ado, that was a long story long. Let's make an HTML page. So I think this was a document I gave you. Okay, so in your HTML exercise, you can use any text editor for people who do front-end development. They might use brackets. I like Notepad++. You can use VS Code, really anything, because it is a plain text document. So you've got two sections here with the div class top section and bottom section, not very aptly named, but just to give you ways to style the CSS differently. So using the, here, I'm gonna look at this on my other screen here. Using the cheat sheet guides that I put in the workshop text, we can make we're going to start with the HTML file here. And you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can mess around with the tags or do whatever you want, really. But let's start with the top section here. Does anybody have ideas for what the website content of the website should have in it? Or is it just laughs and gags tonight? Two. That's, oh wait. Okay, gay content. Wonderful. Thank you, Dawn. All right. So It's okay. I support this gay website, and this is not a homophobic website. This is a friendly gay website. Okay. Welcome to, so first here I'm going to add a header here. We're going to make it an H1 header, so it's going to be a super big header. So welcome to my sure, gay website. Smiley face to make it appear fun. All right. So, and then I just threw in this paragraph text here in case you just wanted to mess around with this yourself. We're going to just edit this. Everyone's welcome here, because we're going to make this a welcoming website. Also, smiley face. All right. Any other suggestions for what's going to go on our website? If not, I will go hog wild with content. Oh, okay. Sorry, just one sec. All right. Let's get coding here. Sorry, guys. I'm a little distracted right now. All right. Okay. Let's have fun with this. Let's take a look at our HTML cheat sheet here. Do it. Let's see that good chat. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Hafez. Oh, Dawn, if you want to share your cursed website, please feel free. So we're just going to add a little more content to this here, and then I'll show you what it's going to look like. Also, if you want to add comments to your HTML code, it is slash and a star, or whatever you want to call that. All right. I feel like I'm trying to balance keeping an eye on the workshop text and also coding here. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at the HTML cheat sheet here. Let's say we want to, let's add an image to our website. Anybody want to add an image? If not, I'll pull something off my computer here. So for the image, we need a image tag, which is, this is probably the worst tutorial code along I could have imagined this going, but that's fine. We're gonna roll with it. All right, so to include an image in our top section here, we are going to say, we're going to open tag img, and we're going to include a source. So let's find a picture, unless somebody wants to suggest one that is appropriate for the server. That's a wonderful suggestion, Dawn. I unfortunately cannot put that on my streaming example here. I don't think. Maybe, probably, but let's play it safe. Yeah, thank you. My wallpaper, I did make that myself. I will put that in the, I guess, art channel later, whatever. Sure, Hafez, let's add your picture of a Crusader to our website. All right, so I'm just going to download this image here, and then we're going to put it in the same, we're going to put it in the same folder as our, example, which is right here. Okay. All right. So, really hope I'm not. So now we're going to say, I think, actually, we might have to do it like this. Sure. And we're also going to put this in string. Okay. Thank you for all these pictures. I do have a picture. You're free to put pictures in your own website. All right. I cannot put all of your images on my website, but feel free. And so we're also going to add an alt text attribute, and we don't have to do this because we're gonna call this the Crusader. Perfect. All right, so we don't have to have this alt attribute right here. We do, oh, this is a really good example actually. So with this image source tag here, this is an example of a necessary attribute that you have to include this because obviously there's no image without the image source. So you do need to include the image source in the tag, but this alt attribute here, you don't necessarily have to have it. It's probably good practice, especially for website accessibility. All right. Oh, yes, thank you. Let me show you the folder. So, yes. Hang on. Okay. So here I have my my exercise folder, which has my HTML exercise in it. This was what I zipped. So I've got my HTML file right here. I've got my CSS folder right here, and I've got my image, which, oh, that's right. I didn't actually do that. I actually included the link to the actual image because it suggested using a URL, which I guess makes sense because unless you're a server hosting the actual website, you wouldn't be using internal resources. Anyways, I just used the link from the image. If you click on the image and then click Open Original, it's going to open it in a new tab. I'll just drop the link. Although I guess if you're not hosting the website, I guess you could just use your own image. Let me see if that works actually. Because everything is a learning experience, and
you said
total disclaimer.
Host it, right?
What?
You said if like
sorry.
Not, you said like if you didn't want to just have it on your I'm sorry. You said if you didn't just want to have it on your local machine, you'd have to host it, right?
Yeah, so you'd have to pay for the URL and the server to actually host your website, and that's again the server-client relationship.
You can host images for free though.
Sorry, what?
You can host images for free though. I don't know about what websites probably to pay for. Yeah, like if you want to host an image,
probably. Let's try it. Let's try it. This is
like,
learning experience.
If you type in image BB, that's what I used to use for all the emails before we used to You can use free, just like for free, host your images.
Interesting. That might be worth looking into. Can I do image href? I'm not sure. Total disclaimer, I am currently learning web dev myself, so I'm not actually sure if you can do I'm sure you probably could do a local image. Well, anyways, let's just stick to using an URL for the source for this image for now, I guess. Just for sake of time, because it is 9:15. All right, and we still have yet to do CSS, of course. All right, so let's just add something to our bottom section here really quick. We're gonna do an ordered list this time because I already showed you an example of an unordered list. And so I'm just changing this UL tag down here to be an OL tag, which is the ordered list. So let's list something. To keep our website relevant with relevant content, we're going to make this. Oh God. All right. Let's say my favorite things. All right. First thing on the list, soba noodles. Delicious. Next thing on the list. Don't forget your break tags here. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, of course. Who couldn't see that coming? Very, very fitting on this gay website. You didn't hear me say that. And one more thing. My Discord friends. Which is you guys. You made the list. Congratulations. All right, so we've got some content here. Some certainly chaotic content. That's okay. We're gonna take a look at what this looks like. So, oh, okay. So it looks like you can use. Thank you, Dawn. It does look like you can use. Yeah, Confess the Crusader. You're welcome. You can use local images. Anyways, so if you open up your File Explorer, and then you want to open your HTML file with a browser. So let's say Chrome. Why not? Oh, and that's, I'm not sure why that is still on there. Let's just get rid of that. All right. Yay. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at it. Look at all those smiley faces. Welcome to my gay website featuring Confess the Crusader. Okay, let's see. I'm sure it's right. Inspect.
May I ask an actual question?
Sorry, what, Don?
So where does the alt text show up?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
I was wondering this with mine. I'm like, okay, where is it?
I was wondering that myself. I think. Let's find out.
If you break the link in your image source, so just like take out like one character from that URL and then reload the page, it should show your alt text. But remember which letter you take out. So just take something out that'll break the link.
Sure. That's
Take the G out.
Take the G out. Sure.
Yeah.
JP.
And now save the file and reload your page.
Thank you.
And look.
Oh, look, Festive Crusader. There we go. Thank you, Dan, for clarifying. All right, so we're just gonna put Fez back in there. And yay. And so as you can see over here, if you right click, inspect the page, you can see all of our div class right here, our header, our paragraph, and the bottom section as well, which only has a list in it right now and a paragraph, but that's all our content in the div bottom section. So yay, there's, okay, thank you. Okay, so here's our website, and so now let's add some CSS to it. Let's make it look a little fancier. All right, time for the fun stuff. So in this CSS file right here, I just added in these two little sections here, just for fun. Just, I guess if you wanted to do it on your own, just somewhere to start off. But anything that you put in these curly braces here is going to be the styling for everything in this div class top section here. So let's add some style. Let me just pull up the other link here for the cheat sheet. Does anybody have any questions on web development or HTML or CSS or anything?
Top section, or is that just top
Yes.
section? Oh, okay, cool. All right, thank you.
Yeah, so it is. Yeah, it is .top section. That's just the name of the class here. So that's what we're referring to. And it's just red right now. It's a little angry because we don't actually have any style in that section. So let's add some style. Let's make, what color should I make this? Let's make it black with white text, which is a classic dark mode. So if we look at the cheat sheet here, if we want to make the background, actually, let's make this the body style because we want it to apply to the whole page. So let's say body, and then we've got our braces here. So we're going to say background color black. And you can do, it does support the like words for colors. You can also do like, you can do hex code, like if I wanted to say FF, something like that. It's gonna, I think, be red. So you can do hex code, you can do, it's just usually easier to do the word though, if you don't need to be too specific. So we just changed the background color of the whole page. Now we're gonna say color. So the color attribute changes the color of the text. So we're gonna say white. So I guess just for fun, we're gonna see what this does to the website here. So if we go back to our HTML template, if we refresh the page, it's now black background with white text. How fun is that? Yeah, that's very fun. I don't know, I'm having fun with this. I hope you guys are having fun. We haven't really done much yet, but it's I think it's almost more satisfying than, say, I guess running a program in Java where it compiles and it runs. That's fun, but like I guess the graphical part of it is fun. Anyways, all right, so let's do something with this image here. Let's say, so in the top section here, let's take a look at our, actually, let me see if I can do this side by side here. I never thought I would use the side by side until I actually started doing front end. And I don't know how to do that. All right, never mind. Oh yeah, we're just gonna do that. So if you look at the HTML page here, in the top section here, you've got a header, you've got a paragraph tag. So let's say for the top section, maybe we want the H1 tag to look a little different. So let's say if you look at the cheat sheet, let's say text align center. And so if you take a look at the website, you refresh the page. Did I see that? Yeah. There we go. This wonderful header is now centered on the page. Very fun. All right, let's do some more stuff here. Yes, this is wild. Absolutely. Let's make the text for the entire page Comic Sans, which is fun. So to change the text style, we would just say font family. And then it usually pops up with some suggestions. I forget what Comic Sans is in CSS. All right, let's just call it Comic Sans. Is that right? Let's try it. And don't forget, on your HTML page, you don't need, if you're used to coding in Java or C++, you don't need the semicolon at the end of the line here because you've got these HTML break tags. But on the CSS page, you do need semicolons at the end of each of your attributes. So, yay, it's now in Comic Sans. How fun. All right, let's try adding some fun stuff to the image here. So, top section image. I could keep going like this all night, guys. If you
Did we add green?
if you're having fun, I'm having fun. Let's see what we can do to this website here.
Sorry, your screen just turned
No,
like
I will be
green.
keeping the Comic Sans.
Right,
I'm a fan. You can do what you want with your website. Thank you. All right. So remember, we're ultimately trying to get this website to validate because we're going to be putting our code into the website validator. So we just want to make sure that we are keeping good style that looks reasonable. So like, you don't want white text on a white background, obviously. All right, so let's do something with this image here. Maybe we want to, hang on, add a border to the image. It's for fun. So for the image, let's say border. And this is all from the CSS cheat sheet 2. It's not a comprehensive list of CSS properties, but if we just wanted to do some basic stuff here, let's add a border and let's make it 2px in thickness, and we're going to make this. It can do. Hang on. Yes. All right, let's try that. Let's do a fun dashed border, and let's make it yellow, just for fun. That's just the theme of this whole. Wow, look at that. Very fun. That's just the theme of this whole website. It's just for laughs and gags. All right. What else? All right, we got another image to put in our website, and let's try CSS positioning on this website. So this is going to be a learning experience, to say the least. We've got a Pokemon that we're going to include in our Old English text empty. See, I would do that, but I don't want my website to make sense. It's a fun gay website. It's not gonna look fancy. It's just gonna be for fun. All right, so let's add another image into our HTML here. Let's add it to the bottom section here, because why not? Is this the old version of gay? Do you mean? Do you mean like the 2005 Urban Dictionary definition of gay? Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. Sure. Why not? Yes, both. This is a yes. You can add a GIF. Let's figure out how to. Thank you for keeping us on track here, Matt. Let's add a GIF to our website. You can add whatever GIF you want. I, of course, will be adding a fun JoJo brain rot GIF. You're welcome. This is my webpage. I make the rules. I will not be apologizing. All right. Let's. Ooh, I don't know. This might be a little outside the scope of the adding a GIF might be. Oh, that's an excellent. Oh, you did add a GIF to the website. Yes, a GIF. Yeah, yes, a GIF. All right. It's not GIF. No, it's not GIF. This is my website. I make the rules. All right. Let's add a fun GIF to our website here. Sorry, Tony. Yeah. All right. Yes, this is an excellent GIF. Okay, perfect. Okay. This is just a lot of me just like shouting into the void. and I received some void feedback in the form of text in workshop, but that's fine. This is excellent. We're working at it. We're doing this together. We're all in it. Exactly. All right. So let's go back to our file here. Image source. So we're gonna just, instead of doing the URL, we are going to include the path for our image, which if we were being super smart about this, we would probably have a separate folder for our whatever you call it, the content, such as our images. However, we're not going to be too specific about this. So we're just going to say, oh wait, let me rename this file here. Okay, perfect. Let's try this. Caesar jojo.gif. Wonderful. Alt 2 boys. Wonderful. This is not very accessible. Let's see what this does here. Oh. Is it because things are stacked on top of each other? Let's find out. Saved my file. Let's inspect our web page here. Where are our images? There we go. There's our GIF of Caesar and Jojo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Speaking of, I will be turning this workshop into a JoJo stream party. You're welcome. You're all here, you can't leave now. All right, so we've got stuff on our web. Thank you. Thank you, I agree. It has been fun. All right, so, no, Hafez, this is your website with the Crusader on it and everything. Don't go anywhere. All right, so let's move this content around the page a little bit. Let's make it look nice. So this is going to be like a little bit outside of the scope of what I explained. But basically, there's a way to consider your content on the web page, and I'll just pull this over here so we can look at it together. No, that's not what I wanted. Okay. There we go. All right, so this is CSS Grid, which is one way to lay out the content on your web page here. So, like if you look at if you inspect your web page and it loads, you can see the different sections for where everything is. So let's just apply a little bit of CSS Grid magic to wonderful. All right, let's keep it going here. I'm not sure I'll actually do this because this might be a great example for how CSS can be broken very quickly, because I am not that good at CSS. I'm probably not even qualified to be using this. Let's try Flexbox instead. There's a couple different layouts that you can use with CSS. We might not even do this. We might just do padding. I don't want to you guys. All right. This is another way to actually, let's go to the link that Tony so kindly shared in the server a few weeks back when Dan and I were trying to make our own websites for our class, because this was a very helpful website. We actually want to see me try Flexbox, because I'm not sure this is gonna be Thank you, Tony. Very cool. All right, let's try it. Why not? You're all here. Let's try Flex. Okay, well, I don't know which one do you want me to try? Do you want me to try CSS Grid, Flexbox? I don't really care. Flex. Sure, let's make a Flex Seal joke. Let's try Flexbox. Why not? I'm trying to get something done here. All right, let's take a look at this. So, I'm just gonna ignore the workshop text because I'm trying to actually get something done here. If you guys need me, at me or something. All right, let's get down to business here. So we're gonna say CSS. Display box. No game. It's working, Tony. I'm looking at workshop text. Display flex. Let's. Shut up. I'm trying to get something done. Okay. All right. Let's just move these two images around the screen and then we'll call it a night. Does that sound good? I think that sounds great. All right, let's try that. Let's get through one thing and I will be satisfied. Okay. Just so that I don't keep you here all night, I'm gonna reference stuff that I've done previously that use, more mentions. Oh, Fez, I'm gonna kick you from this call. Jojo does not suck. I'm just kidding. I will not kick you from this call. However, that is an unbased opinion. All right. Let's see if we can do some flex here. Isn't that a song? No Flex Zone? Something like that. I'm sure. All right. Well, that's block. That's not even Flexbox. All right. Let's try this. Oh my God, so many mentions. This is not a JoJo slander workshop. I refuse to stand for this. All right, let's just get one thing done here. All right. I still stand by. I still do you guys remember this? Do you guys remember this? When I put my Discord friends on my list of favorite things, you will remain on my list of favorite things. However, you're not helping right now. And that is all I have to say about that. All right, so let's flex some content here. Yes, align items. I've used that before. Let's try that. Everyone who has actual front-end development experience in the call right now is probably just looking at me struggling and just having a lot of fun right now, watching me struggle. It's fine. Everybody learns. We're all here to learn, and that's why we're here today. So we're going to display effects, and we're going to align item. Is that what it was? Yes. Sure. Okay. Let's say center. I love using center. It's very justified. That did nothing. Okay. So as you can see down here, and if you're inspecting your web page, if you're following along instead of just pinging me in, the fitness gram phaser test. Actually, you can load audio on your web page. If we want to try that. I don't know if that's JavaScript or not. I'm losing faith in my ability to structure content and more interested in just making this as much of a meme as possible.
Embed a YouTube video.
Oh, the HTML audio element. Yes, let's try that with the fitness gram pacer test. I was actually going to structure this website or this workshop to rickroll all of you as much as possible. However, it's not happened yet. There's still time. Don't worry about that. There's a whole nother section tomorrow. Audio controls. Sorry, I'm referencing a. If you guys want to follow along, I'll put this in workshop text, which is now no longer workshop text. There's the link that I'm referencing if you guys want to add audio with me. All right. Okay, back to business. I'm being pinged. What is it now? Please explain what this. Please paste this to the blank. James. I will. I'm being screen recorded right now, but I trust you. So let's see what this does. Sure, why not? All right. So we save
I
our,
wouldn't.
we save
I don't know
our
what this
document.
video
Where
is.
let's.
What the fuck is
What?
that?
After copying and
There it
pasting it,
is.
I regret it.
What the fuck is that?
James, is this something that I can show on an official IEEE club
It's just weird. Weird anime shit.
meeting? No, please don't. All right, man. Thank you. Thank you, Killeen. Right, let's. Thank you, James. Very cool.
I fucking knew it.
Maybe for after the after the workshop. Let's add the fitness gram phaser test. Control. Okay. All right. No, not you. We're done with Flexbox. We won't subject you to that pain tonight. Maybe tomorrow in workshop after hours, if you really want to watch me suffer. Got our end tag here for audio, and then we're gonna say source sauce equals. Oh, it's gotta be an MP3. In terms of if I let's see what we can find here. Okay, perfect. Official audio. Fitness gram phaser test sound very loud. Bass boost. Sure, why not? All right. Oh God, I thought that was going to be like an hour long. Okay. Part 1. There's more than one part. All right, copy link. Let's get out of SoundCloud here. Totally not a Rickroll. I bet that's totally a Rickroll. Is that gonna work? Let's find out. Yep, it works.
Wait, we can hear it. What the frick?
Thank you. Very cool. All right, let's stay focused here. Thank you for all of this content for yeah, we lost focus like an hour ago. That's okay. That's okay. We're having fun, aren't we, guys? It doesn't really look like we've lost a lot of people too, so that's fantastic. All right. Let's add that audio. Okay. Type. Let's reload our Chrome here. Oh. Ooh. Okay, so we have an audio player. Is it gonna do anything? I don't think so, because it's not an MP3 file. Dang. Okay, well.
Emily, can you go back to your screen real quick?
I'm really dedicated to this audio.
Do you have a source tag in there?
This is a great website, guys. I'm really proud of us.
Can you go back to your code, like your text editor?
Oh God.
Maybe can people hear me or not?
I hope all of your websites look
Very quiet.
Yes, I can hear you.
equally as
I was going
wonderful.
Mine works. It just took up the whole screen. Nothing else there.
Because I know you're all engaged with the content here. Fine. You made explaining the sauce. Awesome. So now we're just sharing YouTube videos. That works too. That's fine. This is fine. I'm really dedicated to getting this audio. I Sure, let's give our computer a virus. Why not? Shh, not right now. See, I also feel like it doesn't work for me to just be the only one talking because I have this compulsive need to fill all awkward silences. It's fine. I get it. We're shy. We're... Shh. Are you guys hearing this audio every single time
I can't hear any audio. Are you sharing your screen or are you sharing the desktop itself?
Can you guys hear the audio every single time I try to download it?
Hello? Am I muted now?
We cannot hear the
We
audio.
can't hear the
Oh
audio.
god. Okay. All right.
You're sharing your...
Let's...
Share the browser, then we can hear it.
Sure. I'm gonna lose my mind. All right, so we got our MP3 file. Let's see if we can add it to our website. Okay, and Killeen added Rickroll to his website. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. It's okay. It's fine. We're having fun here. Okay. Let's try that. Oh! Guys, look at our website. We did it.